I recently turned 34 and we took a trip to Varkala, a beautiful town in Kerala, India, to bring in my birthday. It is on the Arabian Sea and it has some beautiful beaches there. This video has glimpses of what it is to be a travel artist, to sit at the beach, at cafes, basically anywhere with a sketchbook and draw whatever you see in front of you. So, on the morning of my birthday, we walked down from our place to the beach below with my bag of art supplies and decided to make a quick sketch while relaxing at the beach. We had booked for surfing, but when I woke up, I decided that I didn't want to do any activity. All I wanted to do was just relax, reflect. It was monsoon time in Varkala, and I think it is the best time to visit there. It otherwise gets very sunny, and it's very difficult to get out during the afternoons and sometimes even in the mornings. For me, beach is the only place I think where I sit without my phone. I just observe what is in front of me, and it's the only place where I don't see any skyscrapers, any buildings, and it just moves to infinity. And that is something which is very charming on its own, and it helps me to just calm down, be grounded, and just relax. Took a nice walk along the shore, listening to the sounds of the waves crashing before deciding to sit somewhere and sketch. We saw these really cute birds flocking around on the shore, so we walked a little ahead to not disturb them and decided to just sit down somewhere and sketch. We took our sketchbooks and paints and we started sketching, but before we could finish it, it started raining. So we quickly packed up everything to leave. Once we started back, the rain stopped, but we decided that it was okay to let the art be unfinished because I feel like every piece of art speaks its own story, and this is what travel sketching does. While walking back, we saw these beautiful pineapples and these tiny ones growing. I have never seen pineapples grown on a tree before, so it was very nice to sit and observe these very cute fruits which were growing. Our walk back to the resort had this very interesting gate which I thought I'll paint some other day and put it up on my studio. It's like the gateway to heaven, which is basically taking you to the beach, which for me is one of my most beautiful places. We came back up to our resort for having our breakfast, and this is what the restaurant over there looks like. We decided to sketch here while having our breakfast, and this is the view in front of me that I chose to paint. If you have seen my earlier videos, you would have seen a detailed video of how I came to choose this particular view and the process of painting this entire thing. So I will put up a link over here in the description for you to have a look at that. Supplies I carried with me are my watercolor sketchbook, some pencils, watercolors inside a leak-proof palette, Sumi ink, mapping nib, and some travel brushes and a foldable cup. So this is what I created with me looking at this view, and I absolutely love it. I have a travel diary with me for every year, and this is the one for 2022. I made a very quick sketch with pencil and then I painted over it. We rented a scooter and went around the town. These are the views which you can see of the streets and the views from the North Cliff. We decided to stay this time at the South Cliff as it's much quieter and we had never experienced the South before. This was another cafe which was right next to our resort. It had amazing views during sunset. I did a double spread here. I absolutely loved the vibe of this place. You can see over here our names have been put down for surfing, which we skipped, and we ended up doing yoga instead at sunset, which was such a surreal experience. Watching the sunset, the beautiful colors of the skies, hearing the waves while the wind blows on your face is an amazing experience when you practice yoga. If you ever visit Varkala, make sure you surf, you do yoga, and lots of other things. The rooster is what I drew for Inktober because my birthday falls on October 1st, so I created that one. Spent quite a lot of time at the cliff edge, sitting, reading, watching the birds, and just watching the ocean, hearing the waves, and it was just such a peaceful experience. So I decided to paint a section of the restaurant at this time. I wanted to capture that memory and just freeze it in my sketchbook. I think this is what travel art does. It preserves stories, the memories, and the feelings behind the scene. There are two kinds of sketching that I do. One is when I don't have a table and I'm standing in the road or in front of a location and I'm painting or I'm doing a quick sketch. And the other is when I'm sitting at a cafe and I have an entire table to me, which is, I think, the best thing to do. I love sitting at cafes like this, just looking at nature and just recreating whatever is in front of me in my own version. Arvind joined along as well, everywhere sketching, creating his own travel journal. Drawing on location brings a joy of another kind. It is just one illustration that you create of a particular moment in time. You capture that frame in your sketch in the way you feel at that moment. It is also a very good idea to write something along with your sketch. Don't look for creating the best illustration. There is no good or bad drawing. Just remember to just draw whatever you see, whatever you feel. Inking with the mapping nib is very therapeutic and it's also very grounding. You may think that you have control over it, but it is always the other way around. When I look back at these sketches that I made 2.5 months back, I feel like I've been transported back at that time. It is just very soul fulfilling. Last stop of our trip was this cafe called Darjeeling Cafe. This is a place that I've been visiting every single time that I visit Varkala. The first time I came to Varkala was when one of my friends called Ashu, and we spent a majority of our time just sitting in cafes, watching the beautiful sunsets, looking at the ocean and just soaking in the calmness of this place. So this place is very close to my heart and this is where I've made a lot of memories. So I decided that I want to capture one single element out of here which means a lot to me, which is this very beautiful dream catcher. Capturing this dream catcher marked an end to our beautiful and short trip to Varkala and the beginning of a wonderful new year for me after my birthday. So this was a very special moment, and from here we move on and head on to our next adventure.